my channel and welcome to my website. My name is Daryl and this is Programming in Any Language. The website is www.black-duck.com. It's where you'll find all my videos organized in logical order. This video will actually complete the 4D application, and it'll add a few surprises as well. Adding the fourth dimension to the array is very similar to adding the third dimension. It's just another level of complexity to get the company piece working. But once it's complete, you have access to all the data for each company for all 10 years, easy displayed on a 3x4 grid. What's also interesting is that we change up the save routine a bit, making this a method on its own, and we add it to the exit button. Turns out, in the end, we have no need for the load and save buttons. We can get rid of them. All we need is the grid lock and unlock buttons as well as the exit button. Here's how we do that.
Okay, now we're going to do the fourth dimension to our array and complete this thing and get it all in shape. So I've got a copy of the three-dimensional array piece. We're going to put that into place. As you can see on the screen, we've got the year place still sitting in it, and we've got this combo box sitting right up here. And as I told you in the last video, the combo box is sitting right here. We can look at the properties on this thing. Let's just close this off and take a look at it. And the properties are sitting out here. And we're calling this thing Combo Company because we're going to use 5 companies to create. So our last array had 3x4 times 10, now times 5. So we had 120 times 5. We're going to have over 600, something like that, elements in our next text file that we're going to be creating here. So combo box is there. I did nothing to change this thing other than go into the collection and click on this and created some companies. Acme, Google, 3M, YMCA, Fred's, lack of another name. You can go on more if you want and create all that, but that's exactly what we have. So our combo box is set to go. So we really don't need to do too much other than do the same thing we did with the 2D array with a little more complexity as we go into this. So let's go jump into the code right away and see what we've got here. If we jump into this thing, go all the way to the top and look at our code, we can see what we'd like to add now is the company piece. So like we did in the last one, we're going to add another constant. So we're going to add a constant of SOCONST int companies. And lay that in here, oops, equals 5. And then this will simply be the number of companies. And this is our groups. By now it should be obvious that you can have a 6-dimensional array, 7-dimensional, 5, all that kind of stuff. You certainly can. Well, our companies are sitting right here. We're going to need to increase this, so we'll add our comma here. And in here we're going to actually add the word companies. And that gives us our 4-dimensional array. Bring this back here a little bit. We've got some room for this, just barely enough room for that. We're going to need, just like we did with the year, we're going to have to create a pointer that we can use for this. We're going to set int called company. And this will hold the current company pointed to. And our name of our file, we're going to change this thing. This is a nice thing about having a variable here now. We can simply make this 4. So it's a 4D array stuff, and it's going to change all the other elements that we have to deal with. So we don't have to worry about that at all. In our form load, we're going to have to create the pointers to the company. So we're going to go do a combo box. CMB company is equal to selected index equals 0, and this is going to set to first company in our set of companies we created. And our company piece is equal to company selected in sets the value of company. So we're looking at the right guy. So our company's going to be sitting right here, and that's what we're going to be using there. Notice I didn't use any Hungarian notation in these pointers, mainly because I wanted to differentiate them from anything else I'm using in the code. So company means company to me, and year is going to be year. I could have said int year, like I said in company, but that might make it a slightly bit more confusing when you're looking at this kind of stuff. I still like to use Hungarian notation in all my other variables and things of that nature. When it comes to pointers, IJ, HIJ, XYZ, that all works great. And these couple of variables or these constants I'm kind of keeping as a name that makes some sense to me. So let's move forward. One of the things we want to do now is we want to drop down here and go into our initialize array. Again, we have the same problem we had last time. We need to increase it. So we're going to have 4 nested set statements in here. So I'm going to hit here. I'm going to say for int G is equal to 0. G is less than companies, actually. So G is going to be less than companies and G++, and then put our braces in. And then this entire section again is going to be laid into this element right here. And we have to add the G piece in front of the others. G, comma, done. And that puts our gap in here, and now we're able to initialize the entire array. As we move on down, the display grid is going to have to get changed. We're going to be adding the company piece in here. So we'll add company, comma. We'll do a copy paste on here and lay it in place and pop it into all of the elements in this piece. And right down in here as well. And right here. So let's we got a problem right here. Looks like we've got company in there twice. So we'll just pull that out. And that looks like it fixed the error. So our display grid is working just fine right now. So we can see that's in good place. Any other errors? Of course there are. Here's our file load piece. We need to fix that and make that all work. So we'll go to our file load piece, and we're going to need another variable here. So we're going to create an int w is equal to 0. Why w? To the end of the alphabet. Initialize company counter. And then we're going to go ahead and add that piece right into here. We'll add the w right in here, w comma. And then once again, we need to add that piece into here. So we're going to add it to the bottom of this thing. As we go through this, our years, we're going to ask if z is greater than year. If z is greater than or equal to years, and we will set up another routine. And that's going to be telling us that y is equal to 0. Set those all back again. X is going to be equal to 0. Z is going to be equal to 0, and W is going to be equal to W plus 1. So that gets increased. That increases the company number. So for every company, we're going to go through every year, and every year is going to go through every row and column. So it gets to be a long process as we go through this thing. But that does put this in place, and we seem to be okay now in this particular piece. Any other errors? Sure. Save routine. We have to deal with that. With the save routine, it's going to be the same process again. We're going to be looking at our for loop. We're going to have to add an extra one here. And we're going to say for, I think we used G, int G equal to 0. G is less than companies. And G++. It's our braces. This entire thing then gets pulled in and laid into here. So it's nested. All three, we're going to go through companies and years and rows and columns. Our amounts are going to have to add the G piece in here. So G comma goes into there. And now we can save the file. So the read file can actually grab it as well. So that makes all that happen. Anything else down here going on wrong? Yep, the good old-fashioned button lock routine needs to add the company piece to it as well. So we're going to go here, and we're going to add the word company in front of all this. And a comma. We can now then do our copy paste and put company in front of all these pieces in the array. Again, as you can see, this is very, very confusing if you're trying to do this fresh in one fell swoop. And it's a lot easier to take us a piece at a time and slowly add the dimensions to your project so that this works. Otherwise, you kind of drive yourself crazy. Put the company in here, and in here, and in here, and right in here, and in here, and here, and here. And that puts that all in place. Cool. We're looking good. Looks like we've got all of our pieces in place. The one thing we're missing, though, however, is something at the very, very bottom of our program. We need to go into our design. We need to click on the combo box. It's sitting right here. And then add the same thing we did to the earpiece here. So we're going to say company is equal to combo company. Oops, equals again. I have that problem. Combo company dot selected index, which then points to set company pointer in array. And then we're going to go ahead and display grid. And display grid. And we're good there. So file, save all. And let's see if this thing works. Again, what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and go into the sandbox and bring up the routine we're actually looking at here, which is right here. And I'm going to double click on it. Let's make this a little smaller. Go into our bin debug folder. And there's my 2D stuff, my 3D stuff, and we're going to see my 4D stuff pop up here now because this thing is not going to read the 2D and 3D stuff. It's going to be creating its own version of this. So I can go ahead and let's go ahead and I think we got the text box sitting here, don't we? No, but let's go ahead and do this. If I bring up the my 3D stuff, it'll bring it up, and it's got the 2D and the 3D. Yeah, it's all there. So we can kind of close this off, and I'm going to put this off to the side. And we're going to go ahead and run this thing so we can actually see what happens here. So I'll click on this, I'll do a start, and hopefully we don't have any errors. Shouldn't, because we didn't do much changes to it. We just kind of added the extra element in there to make it all happen. And it comes up with Acme first. So the Acme company is coming up first with 220. There's nothing in here. If we look at it hasn't even created the my 3D stuff yet, as you can see. It hasn't done that. It won't do it till we save. So let's go ahead and unlock the grid here. And for Acme, let's go ahead and put in 1. And down here, let's put in 0.5. And let's put in a 22 over here, a 33 here. And let's lock the grid. That puts it in place. Let's go ahead and go to a different company. Let's say Google. And its array is sitting over here. But let's go to a different year here. Let's go to 2029 and unlock the grid and put in 99. And let's put in 34.2. And then jump over here and say 34.4 and 10. And lock the grid. And now what we can see is we'll save this file. Successfully written to disk. If we want to look at this thing, we can go to 2020 and go into Acme, and there's the data we actually saved there. Looks like our alignment is a little bit screwy here. We can go into our Google version, and we have nothing there, but if we go down to 2029, it's out there. We've got data that's sitting out there and actually happening. So we can close this thing off, and let's take a look at our file that we've actually created here. If we look at our Dex file, I'm going to bring up the my 4D. Actually, you can see my 4D stuff has now been created. So we've got that there. We'll double click on it. It comes up. And now this thing has a ton of stuff in it. It's going to go way out. As we keep on going, there's the Google stuff. And we keep on going down. So it's got quite a bit of data sitting in there compared to the 3D and the simple 2D array that's sitting out there. So a lot of changes took place now, but by doing it in a structured way, we can get this to happen a lot easier. It's a little bit, you're going to be able to get through. Notice I did this with a 3D and a 4D without any errors like I had when I was creating the 2D array. That's where all the trouble began when I was working with the save file and making some screw-ups there. This worked out pretty smoothly as we went on. So that's what it takes to create the 3D array. One thing we can do now, this is interesting. If I want, I can go ahead now and make a change to our complete application to make us even simpler. I want to go to I have a folder out here called the graphics file, which is going to show a change to the hierarchy chart. The hierarchy chart, as you can see right here, I added the save file down here. Remember when we first created the 2D array, I actually put the code inside the button, and we didn't have a save file routine. We can easily create a save file routine, then use it in the button exit so it's always saved when the person comes out of here. So let's try that once real quickly and actually do that. So I'm going to go to my routine here, and I'm going to create a button save routine. So I'm going to double click on save. Oh, we've got that. We've got the sitting here. That's right. What I want to do is I want to create a routine called button save or button save file. So we're going to create a private void save file and then create a set of braces here. That creates my save file routine. I'm now going to go up to the save file routine, which I've had up here someplace. Here it is right here. And I'm going to take all this stuff right here and Control X and bring it down and put it inside the save routine. And that takes care of that. Now I can go up to my save file routine, and all I have to do here is say save file and call it. Call save file. What this allows me to do now is go out to the exit button and also save the file. This means that now my routine, I'll just do a file save on this thing, it's always going to save my data when I leave the program, when I come out of this thing. So if I go into my program, say I want to go out to 2022 and add some data here, I can certainly do that. 12, 5, 3, whatever. Lock the grid, and it's there. And I don't have to save the file now. I can actually exit. And it's written to disk, and I'm out. Now I can go ahead and start it again. And let's look at 2021. Where was it? Maybe I did. Which one did I do it to? 2022. There's 12.3 here, right here. Okay, here it is. Here's where I put it. Put it in 2022. It's out there. The data has been saved automatically. What does that mean? That means you really don't need the load file routine. You don't need the save file routine. All we need is the unlock and the exit button to make this thing actually happen. So I can actually make these things disappear. We don't need the save file or the load file routines, the buttons anymore. Those buttons can go away. And all we need is the unlock and the exit. And this thing, block, unlock, exit, and then the thing is done. So that tightens the program up even more. Can I actually do that in the code? Yeah, I can start pulling the buttons out and getting rid of them, but I'd probably be easiest to simply say invisible. Turn that off. Turn this guy off. And then take all of this and move it to the center of the routine. Can I just do that by formatting center and form horizontally? Yes, I can. It goes right over the top of that thing. And now I think we can actually go ahead and do a file save. And if we run this program, and we're still, there we go. Unlock grid is showing up there, the exit showing up there. We can go out to a different company. Let's go all the way out to YMCA. Let's go out to year 2026. Do an unlock grid. The lock grid shows up. Exit goes like this. We can do a 555, and a 345.2, and go ahead and lock the grid. It does the math for us. It saves it. I can jump out to 2027. Nothing showing there. 2026 is still there. Sure it is. Can I exit? Yes. It's fit the disk, so we're out of here. I can run the program again. It comes out. Doesn't show me all those other buttons. I can go to, I think it was YMCA, and I think we use 2026, and there's my data still sitting out there. And we still have the data, of course, for Acme out in the year 2020, and so on. So all that data is being saved in this array, and you've got more control. You don't have all these buttons that you have to deal with. It's a lot cleaner. So that's what it takes to create a 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional, and 4-dimensional array. It's confusing, but you take it a step at a time and just work on that 2-dimensional array first, then the 3, then the 4, then the 5, 6, 7, whatever you need to do, and you're going to be in good shape. That's what it takes.
Well, that's it. A very complex application broken down into smaller, easier to code pieces. In every application you write, always think of taking it a step at a time. Have your focus on the final project, but break down all the pieces as much as you can so your coding's easier. We'll do a lot more of this in the coming videos. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to use the website for easy access to all my videos. And if you get a chance, please subscribe. That way, you'll be notified when something new is available. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.